Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
They must be, right? Unicorns must be just
They
like
must be
dumb as
just-
rocks. Just
yeah,
like
I mean, they're-
pigeons.
Yeah, they're no different than a horse.
They're
I
fucking
imagine.
magical. They don't have to do shit. So I imagine it's like apex predator, like cat shit, you know, like where they don't have to
Right.
do anything. Oh, well. They do get killed in Harry Potter. Why are we wasting this off mic? This is gold.
We're on mic, baby.
Oh,
We're on mic.
this
This
is our-
is this. I think this counts, right? Well, then let's circle back to the unicorns then.
Yeah.
Because that was the gold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Much like their blood.
Their-
Wait, is their blood gold or silver?
Well, yeah. So in Harry Potter, the blood is silver, and it gives like immortality, right? So,
Right.
So like, there's got to be properties of healing in their blood. So I think that it still stands that they're like have the apex predator mentality, because I think that nope, that's not true, because they like literally kill a unicorn. I was gonna say that they like heal.
yeah,
super
you
fast.
can kill a
You can
unicorn. It's
lob
just
off
like
their head.
Oh, yeah.
in Harry Potter, they're just like, oh, don't
Fuck.
do that.
I could kill a unicorn
I
with
think-
a rock.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think the only thing that can't kill a unicorn is a werewolf, right? Because of the silver aspect.
Oh, well, I think it looks silver, but it isn't necessary. I don't know. I don't know how
that's
unicorns work,
true.
and oh man, this
I mean,
is a
if
bad
if
day.
the unicorn's blood is silver, then the werewolf can also kill a unicorn with a rock. You know, just
Right.
use their werewolf strength, throw it at his head.
You know,
What color do you think are their other fluids?
like their piss?
Yeah, and their turds.
Rust.
Are they just
rust
regular?
Colored.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
I get a rusty vibe.
Mhm.
Yeah, rusty turd.
Yeah,
Man.
I bet their shit's real jagged too.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've just decided that because their blood is silver and their piss is rust, that their inside is
Hey.
just like old metal.
Why do
why
Is
not?
it wombats? Why do they shit squares, right? Like cubes.
Yeah, someone does.
Someone
I know
does.
somebody does.
Like a marsupial.
well, there's like pellets, you know, like rabbits shit little
but
pellets.
even that is like they look like tiny little sausages, because it's just your anus is just a little clamp.
Yeah, they must just have square anuses.
They must have
Yeah.
square anuses.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Mm.
Do you think unicorns
Listen.
have a unique? They probably have like star
like a
anus?
star shape.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. Man,
Like
Probably,
that
yeah.
Play-Doh factory.
Yeah.
jeez, this.
I
is,
mean, you want me to Google it? Do unicorns?
they're
do
fictional creatures,
unicorns
Dave. What are you
have
googling
star anuses? When I write this, I realize we all kind of have star anuses, right?
for?
mean-
I mean, if you get small enough in a microscope, like you put a microscope on an anus, I bet you go deep down enough, you're like, yeah, that's kind of a star.
I want them to
okay.
have like a hexagonal asshole, so, you know, like an Allen wrench.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
like a torque wrench. Yeah,
Yeah. Now we're
Fuck
talking.
yeah. Yes, you can really grind them up.
Yeah.
You can-
I'm not seeing anything on unicorn anuses.
Yeah, I
That
told
just
you,
means
Dave.
it's for us to write, Dave.
Yeah,
That's true.
You see a dead end. I see opportunity.
hype.
right.
Yes.
That's a good point. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
What episode of Hypecast?
Hi.
It's the show where we get hyped about stuff and things and
Cast.
fictional creatures' buttholes. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm the other co-host, David Bell.
And I'm a guest. I've been here all along. My name is Abe Epperson.
Abe.
Dave.
You mischievous little sprite.
Tom.
Yeah, how are you?
I miss you guys. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I love doing them. You know why?
Oh, we
Goody.
love you doing
You guys
them.
are great, and it's all the hype. And I always feel like I bring it down because I hate trailers. Like they're one of the worst things to me, and I get why.
I mean-
yeah.
We're not particularly great either.
Yeah, you're. I know you guys. You guys are a little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're kind of party poopers, so
Yeah.
it's fine. We'll all shit on trailers together
it's gonna be fun.
today.
Mhm.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
So let's go ahead and get started then.
Oh, okay. So we gotta thank some producers, is what Tom's saying, right?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll start us off. Big thank you to Humbre.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls. Thank you very much. Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Samuel Beckett's Donuts and Mortgage Emporium.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Snapper Carr Punches God in the Dick.
Thank you
It's
so much.
True. Thank you to @Nerd Numbers.
Thank
you. Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Dracula the Bus Driving Vampire.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Brockaway Loves the Meat Millie.
Oh, boy, does he.
Thank you to David
Knife
Boot Henson. Thank you.
All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to Grumblebee.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Mom on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Seismic Charge Noise.
Bomb indeed.
Thank you to Deborah's Awesome, Barbara's Great, and Cancer and Go to Hell.
Thank you.
Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic. Fucking hell. Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Silica Volcanoconiosis Disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Ooh, he did it.
Listen. I'm on 3 hours of sleep. Thank you to the baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chiz Lily Tits.
Chiz.
Thank you to These 7 Bs.
Thank you.
And thank you to Breezy Ruizy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ooh. Gosh. Producers. So there's some trailers.
Indeed there
You
are.
guys-
There's a
you
few
guys
of
see
them.
these trailers?
There's quite a few of them.
Another week has passed, and we've gone into the trailer mines, and we've come back with our bounty.
That's true.
It's not looking good, guys. It's looking bleak out there.
Well, the first trailer is for Lord of the Rings of Power. Is that what it's called? Is that what they're calling it?
It is.
The Lord of the Rings of Power? Because that's exhausting.
Yeah. And it feels redundant in a way.
Very redundant.
Yeah.
This is my big thing is I got this is the first like trailer, right? Where there's like people speaking and we're getting a feel for like what it's going to be about. And it really feels like it's going to have that Hobbit problem where they're going to be like, like in the trailer, they're like, this evil is coming. Can we stop it? And I kind of know they won't, right? They won't stop
No,
it
they can't because that's the movie.
Yeah.
What
and so
if they reboot? What if they reboot The Lord of the Rings like Star Trek, dude? Like some magic shit, like Magic Time Machine that Gandalf.
Oh, yeah. Eric Bana shows up.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
And they create the Kelvin timeline for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
I have a question for you, Dave, though, about your opinions.
Yeah, sure.
About the Obi-Wan, which I agree with.
Yeah, I in my notes I compared it to Obi-Wan, which is Obi-Wan, if you guys watch that season, is a lot of them avoiding anything meaningful happening because it's between two plot events that we already know about.
Yeah.
So
Plot armor,
nothing
etc.
nothing happens.
Nothing of consequences can possibly happen.
I have a legit question. Has there ever really been a good prequel? I'm not counting reboots. Reboots don't count.
If you're not counting the flashbacks in Godfather 2, I don't know.
Here's what I'll say. I think conceptually, like the broad idea, the Star Wars prequels, I would argue, were a good idea.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't. You know, it depends on who you are and what your opinions on it are. But like, you know, generally speaking, they didn't pull it off. But I don't think that's a bad idea for a prequel, which was like, how did we get here to this?
Well, yeah, and that was always sort of once, you know, not always, but like once Star Wars took off and they made it into this, you know, chapter 5, 6, and 7, right? No, 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
They always knew that they were going to tell the prequel story, so they were kind of. It was that's like a unique situation where they were almost planting seeds for the eventual prequels that he figured he was going to make in the original trilogy.
But was it a good idea? like that's the thing, George.
That's true because you start with the when you're telling a story, you start with like the most important event, right? So it's
it's like he needed to get a backstory so he could get into the world, so he could be like, you know, hey, Now it's got some complexity to it. These moments can be wrought with drama. It's almost like the thing that J.R.R. Tolkien did, where he wrote a bunch of shit just to get him into the idea of Lord of the Rings and then never published it. And now guess what we're getting? His son. So I did a little research. This is all of the events of the Second Age, which is like, that's what they call this. And it's actually Tolkien's words edited by his son. So this is Tolkien stuff. This is like Silmarillion kind of shit.
This is like the appendices and shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I would also, not a hit against Tolkien, I would argue that even if it wasn't, Tolkien's writing style, like the Lord of the Rings way of speaking, isn't hard to replicate, I would say.
Right.
You just have to talk like you're a fucking DM, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta just do a bunch of fucking...
Long ago in
D&D
Flimsonshire,
nerd
where the hobbits dig holes and for their
when they-
convenience stores in Hob End. Yeah.
This
Again, that's not to say the writing's bad, it's just that it's a very distinct writing
for sure.
that is, easy to replicate for that reason.
This trailer just throws at you like there's a new hobbit in town, and their names are like what are they called? Hapfoots? Hapfeets? Something like that. And as soon as that shit hit, I was like, okay, here we go. Now I'm into it, because you just called it a different thing. And then we get a shot of their feet, and it's dirty as hell.
Hell
It's
yeah.
the dirtiest
Dirt
feet.
feet. Yes.
They're even dirtier than before. That's what this should be called.
Yeah.
Yep.
Each new Lord of the Rings just puts more and more shit on the hobbits' feet.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know
Look
that
how
they're
fucked
the
up these
ones.
little claws are.
Yeah, exactly. Now you know they're really gonna save this shit. Well, but like that actually asked me, like, so now we're kind of doing this thing where it's like, the old story about like Indiana Jones pulling out the gun, and it like kind of ruined by fact that it's a prequel. It means that he like does this multiple times, and that kind of ruins the first initial
And
moment.
Temple of Doom,
where
you
it
mean,
felt like
yeah.
an impromptu like idea, and that kind of feels like more fun. So if every time some apocalyptic shit goes down in Middle Earth, the little gross feet save the day, like
Right, that takes away what made it significant.
like
in Lord of the
Gandalf
Rings.
now knows,
The
he's
whole-
like, these people are the real shit. They're going to take care of the real problems.
No, I agree. This is a problem that happens with prequels, which is like I've heard this argument before, and I don't know if this is a good argument or not, but I've heard the argument of like, in the original Star Wars, people just wore those robes, and then in the prequels, George Lucas is like, no, that's official Jedi wear. Or like the
double
thing
down.
where Luke puts the blast helmet on, and George Lucas is like, no, that's the official way of testing lightsabers.
Right, and-
Where you take things that were supposed to be like one shot or like improvisational elements, and then are just like, no, these are actually official things.
It's so
And that's
stupid.
what you're getting at, is that it was like special that the hobbits were involved, and now it's like, oh no, the hobbits are always involved. Like that's
Yeah, they're one of the key parts of the story.
yeah, and it feels like the whole point of this prequel should actually exclude the hobbits,
Right.
if they wanted to actually stay true to the originals, which
It
is like,
makes-
no, the hobbits don't factor into this at all. That's why it's so surprising
Because, like,
when
yeah,
they do.
When Sauron in Lord of the Rings is like, I've seen through most of time, and I've never seen like some Hobbit shit go down.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not worried about it. So it comes as a surprise. Now, if this is true and the Hobbits are integral in saving the day, I don't know what's gonna happen, but like, if they are involved, it's gonna feel like Sauron's just a huge fucking idiot. Like he's
Yeah. Well, it would be amazing if the hobbits really just like shit the bed, and like the hobbits just all get murdered, and Sauron is like, yeah, no need to worry about fucking hobbits.
I mean, that
They
could
suck.
that could be what they do, right? Because like the Second Age is a long fucking time ago, right? Like
I-
it's
yeah,
like
I mean,
it's like lots and lots of history. So like like stuff like that happens in real life, where it's like it seems like we don't learn the lessons
true.
we're supposed to learn every 100 years.
That's very wise, Tom.
Yeah.
That's
So it's
very
not like
wise.
so it's not like completely unbelievable, but I do agree with you just from a pure story standpoint, because we're not like researchers looking at historic texts. We're people trying to watch Lord of the Rings, and if you're just going to tell the same
Right.
story again, why do I care?
Right.
So yeah.
It's a real pickle.
That's what
Yeah.
boils down to.
I love that they, in order to signify it's Lord of the Rings, they are required to have at least one shot of a group of people walking in a line over a landscape. Like, it's like the last shot of this trailer of like, yeah, see, Lord of the Rings, people going on a journey.
Sure is.
Single file.
Walking.
I thought they were
Yep.
gonna milk the like Howard Shore score more.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a
that's
separate.
it.
It's because it's a separate license.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see.
This is not affiliated with the Peter
Amazon.
Jackson films.
Man, I bet Bezos lost some sleep on that one. I bet he got into his robot bed. I assume he has a robot bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just
Tucked
like
in by
crying.
his robot mom.
He was crying. He was like, they won't give me the music that I want. And then the robot says, your tears fall on deaf ears because I'm a robot.
Yeah, it's I can't speak too much on it because I haven't read that much about it, but I from what I understand, the rights to Lord of the Rings is a real nightmare. It's like it's mixed up between like the movies and the books and using certain characters. I think, like, again, I don't know all the details.
I'm
But it
guessing it's
seems
like
rotten.
Marvel, where it was
Yeah, Spider-Man.
underestimated early on and they were just giving it away or something like that, you know?
Yeah, you got to sell it while it's hot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, my overall impression of this trailer, like, I have all the Obi-Wan worries, but I'm rooting for it. I like Middle
I'm rooting
Earth
for
shit, you know?
That's always been my issue with any Lord of the Rings stuff. Like, I don't care about Middle Earth. It's just never. It's Middle Earth, like, as a setting, has never grabbed me. I love Lord of the Rings. Like, I love those movies. That is a great story. I don't care about the universe. So
Yeah,
it's hard for me
It
to get on
seems
board with.
generic.
I should amend that. Is I'm rooting for it because I love Lord of the Rings, but you're right. Is that you could argue that the Lord of the Rings isn't Star Wars, where
It's
has,
not the
like,
the setting is not the appeal.
no, because it's
At
been
least not-
replicated.
I
It's
think-
been replicated so many
And
times.
yeah, let
why.
me real quick footnote. Not to me. It's not the appeal to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
Yeah.
I would just argue that the setting is now almost generic because it's been replicated, which isn't Lord of the Rings' fault. But like the idea of like, oh, now we're going to explore this world of elves and hobbits, and it's like, yeah, I mean, the appeal of Lord of the Rings has been the story of Lord of the Rings,
Right, because Dungeons and Dragons, I think, just lifted everything from it, and now
Exactly.
that's
Right.
just like
It needs
now
to be said, yeah.
what was unique is now just like the standard fantasy setting.
But that's
Right,
because
and
it's
so-
standard to us, though, because
Yes.
we're, hundreds of years in the future. It's like we look back and we're like, this is just generic shit. Yeah, dude. We just opened a podcast talking about unicorn buttholes. Like, this is move on. It's not that crazy that some little tiny
Right.
short dude lives in a rock and like likes gold and stuff. We're not like way into that. But at the time, that blew people's minds, right? They were like,
Yeah.
what? He mines all day? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and this can still be a quality show set in that universe, but it is very much like why The Hobbit, one of the reasons The Hobbit was so underwhelming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is because the story of The Hobbit is just like, it's a preamble to the bigger story.
This like huge, massive, epic, sweeping story that with all these themes about life and stuff, and it's The Hobbit is just not that. So-
Right. You could argue, I assume The Rings of Power is going to be basically the TV version of the opening 15 minutes of Lord of the Rings, right? Of the first one, Fellowship.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Which is a very epic tale there.
That's true.
right?
Yeah, that's right, because it does. It'll. I guess it will have to. Oh no, actually,
There's
I don't
huge
know.
shots of sweeping, war scenes and stuff that it's the first encounter with Sauron. So like it's still going to end with them they'll defeat him, but then that dickhead will be like, I will not throw it into the
Isildur, yeah.
into the and so like that still has to happen. But you could argue that is its own story that is very high stakes, even
True.
though we know the ending.
Yeah.
But you could also argue we knew the ending of Lord of the Rings.
We all know the
You know.
ending to every movie, really. Like with superheroes and like hero stories, it's like, what do you think's gonna happen, man?
Yeah,
Do you
they're
think
not
Obi-Wan?
gonna win.
Did you think that if Obi-Wan wasn't a prequel, he was gonna die? No, he's not gonna die. Well,
Right.
You know, like it's. To me, what's really funny would be is if it is like I don't think it is. I think the Second Age is different. Maybe I don't know. But if it is the first 15 minutes of that of the Fellowship or whatever it was, we just keep cutting to Sauron's arm. You know, like every scene, like he's doing something. He's like, you know, he's just cranking
like,
something,
like Dr. Claw sitting in his
like
chair.
Dr. Claw. Yeah. Just we like, and then it just cuts to an insert of his arm because we know that fucker's coming right off.
Yeah, him just talking about how much he loves his arm all the time.
Yeah. And his ring of power. God damn, such a lame
But I do.
name.
It really bad name. I just do think there are opportunities here to tell a story that's like big, and like we don't know much about who was involved in all that. Like we know the main, the principal characters, but there's opportunity to surprise us. You know, like the Obi-Wan show. It was literally Obi-Wan dealing with Luke and Leia, and it was just like, geez, I wonder what's going to happen to these characters. Like none of the characters. They were all people we knew what was going to happen to. So, at least there's enough. There's enough people who don't know the specific lore that it might be, entertaining and surprising.
Well, I'm excited for Stephen Colbert to be happy. You know.
Yeah, aren't we all? Maybe they'll shove him in there like they did The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
To the Munsters. Full trailer.
What is this?
I continue to have no fucking idea who this is for.
Yeah,
it feels like an elaborate troll.
It's a film by Rob Zombie, famed comedian. You know,
Yeah.
famed prankster Rob Zombie.
See, I get the homage level.
Yeah.
But here's what ruins it, and I think I have an answer to both your questions as to why. The answer to why it's weird to look at is that it's Rob Zombie is not good at it. Like the homage he's good at. He knows all the touchstones. He says it's got to have this kind of stuff. It's got to have this kind of stuff. He gets that. He's not an idiot. But when it comes to like this idea,
he's not a piece of shit.
He's not a piece of shit. But when it comes to the idea of the Munsters being remade right now, what the fuck? Like, who thinks this is a good idea? I don't know. I obviously there's people out there who's probably screaming at me like, I love the Munsters. And I get it. It probably
under
has
the
some
age
nostalgia.
of 60?
Yeah, but that's the thing, is it's like, what are the themes at play? Like, even Addams Family feels outdated to me at this point, even though that's a legitimate banger. Like, this has the Munsters. I've seen like some of the Munsters, and honestly, it's just like, this is just all they did. Like, this was schlocky back when it came out.
Yeah, it's real corny.
So it looks like a Neil Breen film when you try to make it. That's
today.
The
thing.
Yes.
This looks cheap.
This looks like it was made cheap too. Like the quality of the sound is bad. Like
it's
the trailer is like weird and meandering. It feels like a trailer for like a straight to streaming fucking indie film that was like shot in someone's house. Like it has all that quality. It's a little better in terms of the sets. And then like the humor is like, okay, they're doing like Three Stooges shit, like this slapstick sound effect humor.
Yeah.
That's
in parts. But then it doesn't feel like it's consistent, and most of the trailer doesn't feel that funny. And so it's like, I don't know, is this for like really old people who love
it's
like
for Rob
slapstick? It's just, it doesn't feel like it's for children.
That slapstick existed. That was like Rob Zombie's doing it justice. The problem is, once again, he's not good at it. So it feels isolating. You know, like it really isolates the audience because it's like he has too many choices and he's not really great at like combining the elements to make something that feels authentic. So when he's
Yeah.
doing these homages, he's doing the slapstick stuff and like trying to and staying true to the arcs of these characters. It's like you don't understand, like, the people who made the Munsters originally knew it was like kind of a joke that was like supposed to be stupid. I don't think
Right.
he truly gets that. I think he knows in his heart, like, this is all nonsense. But like the second that you put it on a pedestal and you're like, remember this nostalgia, is the second that you make it important. And the Munsters was never important. It was it's like I don't know, it's the honeymooners, right? It's just Monsters honeymooners. That's the pitch.
Right. It's not something that's like, it's not iconic or like original enough to bring back, because it almost doesn't quite work now. It's too mundane almost.
It's very mundane.
Yeah.
It's like women be shopping kind of stuff,
The mundanesters.
The mundane.
Damn, dude, you're cold as hell.
That's right. Sitting back here like a fucking sniper.
Here I am lobbing bombs at like Rob Zombie. I have no right to lob, by the way, because
Sure.
because he's making movies. He's made movies. I've
I've
only made one.
enjoyed some of his movies too.
Right.
This just looks, and again, maybe it's the trailer. I don't know. It just looks really weird and aimless and confusing and cheap, just based off this damn trailer.
Homage is a sickness. Nostalgia is a sickness.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it truly is.
It was literally a sickness when it first got introduced. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's the name of a disorder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's the
Munsters.
Munsters.
The Munsters. Listen, I hope they had fun making it, and if there's some Munsters fans out there who are like, yes, I hope they enjoy it. It's more of like, I guess from...
I cannot figure out who this is for.
Yeah, I'm just
It's
really
for-
struggling to wrap my head around this one.
Let me look at your producer notes. It's for I just imagine Grumblebee in his Munsters t-shirt or her t-shirt just crying, saying like, I gave to this podcast
And
and
we broke their heart.
I'm sorry, Grumblebee.
Well, on the subject of spookies, I need to talk about this next trailer.
Ah!
This is Day Shift. I had seen this trailer like haunting the internet, and I never clicked on it. And I thought like, oh, what is this, like, like some assassin movie or something like that? Because like you look at the poster and stuff, and it looks like really generic Netflix, whatever, like not necessarily bad. And then you click on it, and you learn that it's about Jamie Foxx playing a vampire hunter working with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, it's John Carpenter's Vampires, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I don't know, man. It's from the John Wick people. It's kind of all I want now.
I do not hate this trailer. It's silly, it's dumb as hell. I don't know. I don't hate it.
I have a
Snoop
question.
Dogg. Snoop Dogg is
Snoop
a
Dogg
vampire
with a
hunter.
fucking chain gun blasting
realized-
vampires. Yes, that's
It
fine.
is-
Please.
Yeah,
Very
and watching this, I realized
Yeah.
he's also getting a little old, Snoop.
Yeah.
And so like an older Snoop Dogg vampire hunting is just like, fuck, man, I love it.
Yeah,
I
is he
love it.
Whistler? Is Snoop Dogg Whistler?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
It's-
He's
got, like, all
Whistler
the tech.
age. Snoop
Oh
Dogg is
man,
Whistler
I just
age.
love the idea of like, Snoop Dogg, what do you want on set? And he's like, I just want to sit down. He's just getting so old. He's like, you don't want like a big bag of weed? He's like, no, I just want.
I'm so tall, my bones hurt. It hurts to stand.
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
frame up. The trailer starts. It starts with at least Jamie Foxx being a pool guy. Like he's and then he opens his like pool stuff, and it actually has like bombs and guns and stuff, right? Who is that? Is he fooling the vampires who live in the house?
I think so, actually,
I
because
think so,
I think the first hit we see is him murdering an old lady, and at first the trailer wants you to think like, oh my god, he just broke into a woman's house and killed her, and then she goes all deadeye on him, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
she turns into a ghoul.
but I think it's still very much Jamie Foxx breaking into a woman's house and murdering her.
Okay.
It's an assassination of a vampire. And so I think his job is that he just goes around assassinating vampires, and he needs to not look like a vampire hunter. Like, you could argue Blade isn't a good vampire hunter because he looks like a vampire hunter.
No,
right?
no, that's yeah, you're absolutely right.
He looks like the Matrix.
He looks like the Matrix. Everyone who like looks around, you see that dude in the room, you're like, if I'm a vampire, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So like, if you saw a guy, if Blade wasn't in the zeitgeist and you saw a guy who looked like Blade walking down the street, you would point at that guy and be like, that guy's a fucking vampire.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is on me. I guess it's just unclear to me because there's clear footage in the trailer of like the way the vampires work, or like kind of Thrall-esque. They're in a den and they're just like, I don't know, sleeping on top of each other.
Right.
And like they don't even have their shit together. Chairs are barricaded, and it's like, you know, so I want to know but we also get an old lady vampire like cooking us cookies, the equivalent of that. Like, what are vampires in this movie? I guess I have to watch the movie to find out. But that gave me pause in the trailer is all's I'm gonna say is.
I think it's also for the cops, right? He has to look, you know, he doesn't want to walk around.
It's a secret war.
In tactical wear.
But he can just be a
for
guy.
the cops to get involved.
Just be a guy, kick down the door and shoot a vampire. He's already gonna make all that commotion.
It's the pool cleaner is how it's airtight, Abe. The pool cleaner is how he gets on the property and it's not suspicious. Someone sees a pool cleaner.
You said airtight, dude. Discussion over.
Yeah.
I also love that vampires are contortionists. Like that's where
they all do the possession of Emily Rose shit.
Exactly, which is not not vampires typically. That's ghoulies and ghosties.
It should be noted that this is from the writers of Army of the Dead and Army of Thieves and a bunch of Zack Snyder stuff.
Ooh, it's brutal.
And also the John Wicks, which aren't particularly great.
Not writing.
Like well-written films, but...
just a good idea.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping it's a little bit in between the two. Because like I saw Army of the Dead was a dumb movie, but I understood like the fun of it. Like it didn't. I don't remember loving it. I don't remember what our review was. I remember pointing out a lot of plot holes, and I'm sure this will be full of plot holes. But if like if the actual journey is fun, then I'm not going to give a shit watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys watch that sequel to the Army of the Dead, Army of Thieves?
No interest.
Did you see that? It's like all it is it's just about a guy who can crack into safes.
Right.
Which
like, I would argue is a bad idea for a zombie.
No, it's not prequel. Yeah, it makes no sense. That's I guess like when I watched that I was like, are there zombies? Like is this
right.
No, it's just like it's just a different movie. Like I think that we're just trying at this point to say like, let's build a franchise around a world. And what is the world? What's the icons that like what are the lightsabers to the Star Warses? What keeps me coming back?
Right.
It's like the fact that Zack Snyder thought it up.
It's
like that's not a world.
That's not a shared universe. Yeah.
That's an idea that a guy had.
Yeah.
Like, but isn't that what movies are? I don't know. It's stupid. This is all stupid. Stop doing movies.
Stop movies. I don't know. This is there's nothing. I don't know. I don't need this film to be anything, and so like it could, unless like the biggest problem this film could have in my head is if it doesn't have enough scenes of him beating up vampires. Like if like there's only like 2 vampire scenes and the rest is like a thriller, then I'd be pissed. Then I'd be like, you promised me.
Oh fuck, we didn't even
Jamie
talk about
Foxx beating the crap out of vampires in like John Wick style.
We didn't even talk about Dave Franco and how it's like like at this point the same jokes in every comedy.
I don't know about him in comedy. I mean, I
think he's fine. It's just the writing is just like, oh, I peed my pants. It's just like I'm so anxious about this. It's very
It's like we need to find a new well.
Yeah, exactly.
to get jokes from.
Or I'm just getting old. It is the children who are wrong.
It usually is, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm still DTF with this movie.
Sure.
DTF
I mean,
with
I
Day
don't
Shift.
have anything invested in it. It's just I didn't know it existed until like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So sure,
Yeah, fuck it. I'll watch it.
I'll watch this goddamn
Yeah.
movie. Maybe it's good.
Tight.
I
don't know.
Airtight. End of discussion.
Vampire killing pool man.
Mm-hmm.
What if
I
that's
have
what if
decided
that's
that
what
I
he
love
wants? What if that's all he wants is to kill enough vampires so he can retire to a humble life of cleaning pools?
Like
That would be great.
Yes, that would be perfect. Jamie Foxx. That's his aspiration in this movie.
Yeah.
There's too many vampires around these pools. All right. Next one.
All right. Next one.
Mm-hmm.
You heard the guy.
The guest.
Next one is Spin Me Round, which I would argue is a terrible title, considering that it doesn't really have anything to do with this trailer.
Yeah.
Well,
I do
Which
really.
is-
I am really into this trailer.
I think
Yeah,
I
it's
know
filled
what it
with
is.
heavy hitters.
It is.
And it looks to be I want to say murder mystery, but I appreciate that I don't really know
Yeah, it's
what I saw.
some kind of mystery.
yeah.
It's about a woman who, like, her company, she wins some sort of company thing and gets to go to France, right?
It was
Italy.
Italy, that makes more sense. And it's just like it looks kind of like a real bummer hotel that they send her to, and like a bummer package. And then she gets involved with like the owner of the company, and like this other woman who I assume is like his wife or girlfriend.
I think it's like his assistant, and it's Aubrey
His
Plaza.
assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it seems like there's some sort of like love triangle implied, or
Yes.
like something where like she gets swept up into this, and everybody keeps telling her, like, what did they put? How like open she is, or something?
She's
Yeah.
Like, why
Like,
do
it's
people keep
clear
telling
that
me
she-
that?
Yeah, it's clear that she's being buttered up for something or led into something.
I hope.
Yeah.
And then there might be a murder involved. Not sure, and it seems to be some sort of weird mystery.
I hope this goes exactly like The Witch, the movie The Witch. Because, like, I think actually what I think they're doing is like a Talented Mr. Ripley shit, and I think they're making they're setting Alison Brie up in the trailer to be like a she would never do anything like this, in the same way that Talented Mr. Ripley's like, he's an unassuming man, and then he's like, no, he's crazy, and
Yeah,
I
you
think
think
Alison Brie
she's the
is
villain?
I think that the like twist like arc in Act 3, we're gonna learn that they're villains, and then she like doubles down on that and becomes the villain,
Right.
in order to play with Aubrey Plaza, because otherwise what's that movie gonna be? It's just gonna be Aubrey Plaza chewing Alison Brie up,
Right,
you
and
know?
Aubrey Plaza has that immediately sinister vibe that they want, and Alison Brie has very much
She's
that
Annie.
secretly sinister vibe.
Yeah.
Like she can go a long way with that idea of like actually a villain, like, and so I can see that happening here for sure.
There was also some clear pan and scan shots in the trailer when you look at the murder arc, like who was holding the knife. You could tell that
Right.
the composition was slightly off because they were trying to crop the face out.
Yeah.
I think something's happening with the CEO in particular. I think he probably dies and becomes like a Mr. Body in the first 20 minutes of meeting him, actually.
Yeah, I can
maybe.
see that.
I do
Yeah.
like the that Alessandro Nivola is having this like second wind in his career where he's playing like weird mentor type characters.
Yeah, some weird-
He's killing it lately.
He's so
yeah.
cool. He's so good.
yeah, that's funny.
He's like killing
Yeah.
it in the art of self-defense.
So I think that
Yeah,
that's
for
what
sure.
Spin Me Around means, is that I think it's
Yeah, it's the idea of being
It's-
off center, off balance.
It's off center, and it's also the idea of like a love triangle, and it's the idea that I think we're going to get an entire 180 from Alison Brie.
I can see that. Yeah.
That's my diagnosis. I am a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm
Whatever
a
the
movie
case,
doctor.
I'm the movie doctor.
whatever the case, this looks like a lot of fun.
I'm
I'm
into
very
this,
excited
yeah.
about this one.
I'm glad we have this now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also,
Hype.
if we're ready to move on, excited for the next one.
Hype.
Yeah. Yes.
Is this called Honk for Jesus,
Yes.
Save Your Soul?
Mhm.
This is Regina Hall, who also seems like she's making a fucking resurgence, right?
Yeah. It's her and Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, who fucking
Sterling
rules.
K. Brown, who is killing it. And he plays like a preacher, a televangelist preacher who gets some sort of scandal, and this is like his comeback. And I think it's kind of a mockumentary, although it's hard to tell if it is that or if it's a.
It looks like
there's a documentary being shot.
Yeah, it looks like there's
film.
at least part of it is a documentary being shot. But yeah, it's like a satirical version of like in what happened in the 80s with Jimmy Swaggart and like Jim Baker. You know?
Yeah.
Only it's Sterling K. Brown and Regina Hall. It looks really fucking funny. Honestly.
It looks. I would argue also a bad name, but like.
I don't know. I'm kind of into it.
It's too much.
It's
too much.
It's a little long, but I'm kind of into it. Like the more I look at it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think it. I don't love the name, but I do think it adequately gets me right into the like. Oh, this is kind of they're gonna go like Righteous Gemstones a little bit with this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they're clearly pieces of shit. Like it's like they're hungry for power and they want to regain status, and that's all this is. And so they're gonna have a journey. If they're likable at all, the journey will be to realize that the power hungry, like to return to God, you know, to actually become the thing that they're preaching.
Pretending
if
to
it's
be,
not, if it's just full on gemstone, like so far, like full on gemstones, it's going to be, you know, oh, this is just another Succession family, the rich assholes that remain rich and will do anything to stay that way. And they suck, and they're like kind of the devil. I don't think that that's what this movie is. I think the Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul is a little indicative of like this is kind of whimsical, this is kind of fun and light. So I don't think they're going to go full on, like they're power hungry and will double down, and that will be the end of it.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite like the tone.
Yeah,
I think it'll be like Regina Hall will ultimately be like a sympathetic character.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the trailer seems to imply, that she's not into this. But I don't know.
I disagree. They're showing that she's very much into the power and status in the trailer.
In fact,
but I feel like she's going to have a redemption or something.
I think there's a redemption arc with her because, like you were saying, she feels likable. There's room. I think Sterling K. Brown is going to have a big fall, and she's going to see it. I don't know.
He's in full on clown mode in this, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna watch it for anyway.
Yeah. This looks exciting. People should check out the trailer.
Hype.
It hasn't. I haven't seen much about this.
No, I hadn't heard of it until we did this. Doc.
The title like is fine, but it was one of those titles that almost made me skip over it when looking at trailers, because it's like such a weird. I don't know.
It feels a little
Maybe
amateur,
that's just me.
right?
Yeah, it feels like an indie film. Then. Yeah.
It feels like it's overreaching. It's going for two different things. Honk for Jesus is its own thing, and Save Your Soul is its own thing, and rarely are they tied together. That's why it feels like too many chefs.
I'm glad I looked at it, and that's why people should look at this one.
Yeah.
This next trailer is for Paradise Highway.
Yes.
With Morgan Freeman and Frank Grillo.
And Juliette Binoche.
Yep.
Is this like Kiss the Girls, Kiss the Spiders?
So here's my theory on this trailer.
Uh-huh.
And you can kind of see it from the when they actually do the credits and they say who's in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Morgan Freeman's in this for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. He's going to be like Tommy Lee Jones in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I think that they're putting him forward in the trailer like it's about him, but it's very clearly about a truck driver who has to traffic a child and then ends up going on the run with that child. And I think they're going to have, scenes with Morgan Freeman like working it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a real Logan.
Real Logan.
Oh man, dude! But here's the thing with Morgan Freeman in this movie: he's wearing that hat.
Hell
and
yeah!
He looks exactly like his role in Now You See Me, and so I want him to just start doing like just
Magic?
close-up magic suddenly.
I forgot he was in There You See Me.
Yeah,
My
he
goodness.
sure is, Dave.
I'll never forget. I'll
Yeah.
never forget. And it's
Remember,
gotta
do you
watch
remember,
those
you remember
films.
his like fucking mopey ass face on the poster for part 2?
Yeah, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't like
This
magic.
hilarious photoshops.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so
I
good.
don't believe in magic.
I also am getting like a True Detective vibe because they're doing the Deep South landscape
Yeah.
shots, following a crime involving young girls. That kind of feels there.
Right.
This looks kind of straight to streaming, but it also doesn't look bad.
That was going to be my take, is that this looks like a film that everybody will forget.
Yeah.
And then someone will randomly watch it and go, "Oh my god, this is actually pretty good."
Yeah, it's solid.
And like no one will know.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe. I also get a perfect world. Clint
Oh
Eastwood
yeah,
movie.
sure. With Costner, yeah.
Even the name Paradise Highway.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
it smacks of like a drama that is like, oh, but if we took a left turn, things would be fine. Like it's the thematic weight of title really gets in the way when you do dramas, and this has that vibe. Paradise Highway, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's very generic name, right? Like it's I was just making fun of the last name Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul, but at least that's something that will be remembered.
Yes.
This is not a memorable name.
Yeah, Paradise Highway could be anything.
Yeah.
It's like
really
most
could.
of like the 90s thrillers that Morgan Freeman was in, It's like Kiss the
pretty
Girl.
much.
High crimes. High
Smooch
crimes.
the spiders.
Smooch
Yeah.
the spiders.
Little spider
all these-
kisses.
That whole era, it's just like, I don't know.
Well,
Those are
wet-
nonsense titles.
Wet, eager
Yeah.
spider lips.
Yeah.
Waiting for smooches.
This is so much better title.
Let's move on.
It'll
Let's move
never.
on.
Hold, one last thing, just one
Okay.
short
Okay.
thing.
Like,
It'll
hang the
never
fuck
be
up.
as bad. It'll never be as bad as the best title, which is Mortal Engines.
Oh
Instruments
god.
of Bones. Is that the name? Bones. The Bones.
Oh,
Instruments.
the Mortal Instruments City of Bones.
Mortal
Yeah,
Instruments.
there's also
City of
isn't there also
Bones.
Mortal
Engines
Engines?
is a different movie.
But that is
Yeah.
okay. So I got.
That's the
them
one about
confused.
the mobile city.
I got them confused. That's how
Yeah.
bad it is. Is I try to do this joke and I can't even remember because it's
The
so
Mortal
bad.
Instruments City of
Mortal
Bones.
Instruments. That's the one I was thinking of. City of Bones.
How can a title be so long and yet so forgettable at the same
Exactly.
time? That's incredible.
And it's got like huge words. It's got words
have
in there.
have we watched this movie?
We haven't. We have not watched City of Bones, Dave.
We probably should,
We've watched
right?
City of
Probably.
Bones.
No, we fucking didn't.
Yeah, we have.
No, we haven't.
Write in the comments if we have seen this movie.
I'm looking at the trailer and I do not recognize a moment of it.
It's fucking. I feel like we have. I really feel like we have.
I don't know, man.
Like
What
in a
is
dark-
this? Is this about magic? What is this?
I don't know.
A world of demons. Okay. I'm looking at it. It's so hard to tell if we watched this
Mortal
movie.
We
Instruments,
definitely haven't. Let's
Mortal
move on.
Engines. I'm still
Tom,
angry at
we're
myself.
gonna have to watch it in real time right now.
Right now.
Okay.
We're
to get to
watching
the bottom of it.
Mortal Bones.
Mortal Bones, City of Engines.
City of Mortals.
Yeah.
City
Isn't
of
that every
Jesus
city?
Christ.
City of
Yeah.
Engines. I love it.
City of Engines. That's the 2000 DreamWorks film Robots.
Yeah.
That's true. City of All right.
Jesus Christ.
I love this. What's
Perfect.
the next one? What's
The next one is Carter.
Mhm.
Carter is what appears to be a stunt demo reel,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a good one at that.
Oh, I'm sure.
but
it's
like
great.
it's giving me that vibe of like bare bones plot. We put a bomb in your mouth, according to this trailer,
the best line.
and you have to. It's like real crank shit, where it's like
Yep.
you're on. There's a ticking clock. You have to go do something, and the stunts that are in this trailer, if done practical, it's hard to tell. Honestly, are fun. Like
Yeah.
I really enjoy a lot of this. What do you guys think?
I mean, you nailed it. I think that the whole point, like, we are pretty unhinged at this point as a society, I think, when it comes to what we want from movies. We know what there is
Yeah.
to offer. Everyone has had the buffet. right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we know what we can get. We can get the lobster. We can get the mozzarella sticks. With this one, it's just like, your name is Carter. You got amnesia. You got a bomb in your mouth. Let's go. So we don't care anymore. Fuck it. Just throw them in an action
It's kind of all we need, yeah.
It's so like people are going to watch this because of that. That we don't need a story. We don't need to, twist it up and make it multiple things. Leave that for the blockbusters, for the Spielbergs, like this can just be what it is.
I guess what I'm getting is real like Hardcore Harry or the Raid vibes, where we're going to learn that they did ridiculous things to get these shots and these stunts. Because they look like some of the shots where he's like walking on a crane and the camera like sweeps under the crane as he's climbing it to jump from the crane to someone else, like while on a moving car or something, where it's like, what the fuck is even happening here? And I think it's, from the trailer, it really does promise to be like batshit stunts, right?
Yeah.
And so that's good enough for me.
Yeah. I'm scared a little bit of the precedent that sets, where it's just like the more dangerous the stuff, the more like we give the movie in terms of credit, and it's like that could go only one way.
I can't speak to this film, but it is worth pointing out that they can do practical stunts thanks to CGI in safe ways, right?
That's true.
Like by compiling a bunch of practical stunts, or like taking out wires,
removing wires and crash
or safety
pads and
harnesses,
stuff,
and
for sure.
And
I'm not identifying that this movie in any way. I do not know. I'm sure it was probably all perfectly safe. I'm just saying the trend.
Yeah.
As like,
I know what you're saying.
Moviegoers clamoring for that kind of stuff, I think would be bad. I don't think anyone's actually yet, but like we're starting to see that trend develop.
Yeah, I just do think like, or at least I always keep thinking this, and then I get discouraged. Movies like Crank or Hardcore Harry or any of those, I keep getting this feeling whenever I watch them that it's like, this is going to redefine action. Like, I can't wait to see this type of action on a budget.
Right.
Or, sorry, I keep saying Harry. Hardcore Henry, by the way.
Yeah.
That's the name of the movie.
I got it. Yeah.
But that never is the case. Like, those movies come and go, and then, like, Marvel films and mainstream action just sort of stays more or less the same. Although these directors, like the Hardcore Henry directors, got to do Nobody. So, like,
it's about, it's
they
about
get
having
careers out of it.
Yeah, it's money, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, make us some money.
Make some money.
Whenever I see it, it just to me feels like indie action is always so much fucking better. And then the moment they're able to do anything mainstream, and maybe that is because, unfortunately, they're doing things that then when you try to do for a studio, they're like, we can't legally allow you to do that.
Well,
like maybe that is honestly the
maybe
the truth.
Michael Bay did blow up like a fucking city block for ambulance.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He can just throw money at every problem.
That's true. Yeah, Michael Bay.
I think what Dave's saying is very true, though.
Yeah.
When it comes down to, because with indie action, it's all about limitations, right? Because if you're indie, that means you don't have a lot of money, so you have to be creative in the ways in which you approach the film. So that's why stuff like The Raid really sings, because they're like, okay, we only have like a few floors of this building, let's make it seem really tall. How are we going to do that? We'll just respackle and like make sure that the walls are all good, paint it over, and shoot the same scene in the same space and just call it a different floor. Like, they're doing this stuff so then we notice as an audience, oh, everything looks the same. So he's starting to use like the geography to his advantage. That's kind of cool. That's not something I've seen before in like a blockbuster. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't spend the time on that little nuance. And so I think that indie is always going to be a cool way to stay creative. And I think action movies in particular right now are still developing because of the marriage of CGI and, wire work and all that stuff. And it's becoming more international than any other genre, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And it feels like a lot of these directors, once they get noticed, they don't continue that. Again, like I really liked Nobody, but it wasn't like, wow, look at these stunts. Mm-hmm. Like they finally have a budget. That said, Gareth Evans hasn't made another action, right? He made Apostle.
No, yeah.
And so like I just looked him up. He has an action movie coming out called Havoc with Tom Hardy and Timothy Olyphant. and a bunch of other people, and it's like maybe that will be out of its goddamn mind.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, action-wise, maybe it will go balls out. I just feel like I keep getting teased by that idea of like I can't wait till they get a budget, and then I never get to see that.
You never get to see it. What if they're both kaiju? All right. What if that's the movie?
Oh shit, Kaiju Tom Hardy.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck,
Just
man.
stomping all around San Francisco like Godzilla.
150-story Tom Hardy.
Just throwing a whiskey bottle at the Golden State Bridge.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, next trailer is the full trailer for Bodies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trailer.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've talked about this trailer at least once already.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
just
We can.
Okay. What?
No, I mean I can blast through this one. You have a note in our little doc that we share that Dave, you're saying that there's a lot more to this film.
Do you agree with that? I'm not
do
saying there is. I'm saying that the trailer feels like it's cutting
It does.
around something.
I think there is. I think that there's. Did you notice there's a quote on the like they put up as a super on the trailer that's like a twist ending you'll never expect.
Yeah.
Which
I
is-
hate it when they do that. But
and
yeah.
I love it when a production says, "Yeah, let's put that up on our trailer," because
Right.
it means that they know that that's all they have.
Yeah, it means they have no faith in the movie.
Yeah, so I
Right,
think it's going to be a straight shot, and the twist ending will be something like the murderer was organizing the whole thing, and it's like
Yeah, the twist ending is the murder is going to be.
it's going to be a clue.
Yeah.
Like, what else
You
can you
think so?
do? What
Yeah.
else can you
I
really
guess
do?
so. I guess what I'm saying about them cutting around stuff is like, for example, this has all the elements of a slasher movie. The poster, the way they're presenting it, except the trailer is very specifically not showing one thing, which is anybody in an outfit, right? Like a slasher character, like a monster, a villain.
Yeah.
And so right away I'm like, okay, well, this isn't a slasher film, but it seems to be presenting as one. Is it a murder mystery? Because it also doesn't quite seem to be
I
presenting
think
as that
it's-
either.
It's not presenting as
Oh.
Clue, but
I think
it's
here's. So I mean, so the new thing that this trailer showed us is that it kind of showed us the main character, who is the lady from Borat 2, whose name I forget, Maria Bakalova, I think. Anyway, coming to this house for this bodies party. And now that we're talking about it, I think what it might be, because they're cutting around, like they start to play this game where it's basically tag with like a murder bent, and then somebody ends
Right.
up dead, so it just turns everybody paranoid. I'm wondering, what if like the first person dies by accident?
Yeah, that's
That's-
And
what I
like,
was
so
thinking.
it's
is
just
that
the
it's-
rest of the movie is them killing each other off because they're paranoid, but really there's no murderer.
That's a really
Right.
good idea. I think that that's the only other way they could go with it, because otherwise it just becomes like a Clue, right? Where it's like,
Right.
aha, I was secretly the villain the whole time.
Yeah,
I think it's about like toxicity of amongst these friends.
Distrust, yeah.
And so that is why they wouldn't show anything, because it's like all the murders are done by different people. And like, that I think that makes the most sense, Tom.
yeah.
It
we'll see.
also fits with the, like, whatever the fuck Lee Pace is doing.
Yeah.
Like, he's just Jeff Goldbluming us the whole time.
He's way too old to be hanging out
He's
with
way
these
too
kids.
old.
I
and he's
do
just
love that he's
lounging.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's lounging, and it like, what it does is it clearly sets up in your script from the jump. Okay, here's someone who is kind of an outsider that you don't have a clear indication of who that guy is. That puts you on radar for maybe he's a murderer. But also what it does is it makes all of these youthful people clamoring for his attention because he's probably very rich, and all these other things that are probably going to be seen as superficial in the movie. And so everyone's going to be vying for the attention and begin to hate each other like a reality TV show. And I think Tom's right.
Yeah. Let's everybody mark it down. I want people. We've
know
successfully called movies before. I think we should call our shot here.
I'm the script doctor. I'm the doctor.
You're Dr.
of
Film.
movies. Yeah.
Yep,
Although
you're Dr.
that was
Film,
Tom's
baby.
idea, so
Hashtag Dr. Film was right if this comes out and we were right.
Yep.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm still
Listen.
gonna watch it because I watch it. I watch movies.
Yeah, you love movies.
It's what I do.
It's
Yeah.
what I do.
I really need to talk about this next trailer.
I love this.
All right, because this is the trailer for Orphan First Kill. Now, before we get into it, have you guys looked up who directed it?
No.
Not at all, Dave.
It is the director of Stay Alive, The Devil Inside, and most importantly, The Boy.
Oh, the
And
boy.
Brahms, The Boy 2.
Oh, the
I would-
boy too.
I can see why that's
Yeah.
most important for us, but I would argue most important is the Devil Inside.
Probably.
Sure,
yes.
sure,
Because
sure.
The Devil Inside is one of the worst films ever made. It's one of the worst reviewed films
Yeah.
ever made. It's one of the films that had the steepest drop off from its opening weekend. Like in all
Yeah.
Everyone
many
yeah.
conceivable categories, it is one of the worst films ever made.
wanted to be forgotten.
Yeah. Well, okay, that makes up for it because it's written by the writer of The Haunting in Connecticut 2, Ghosts of Georgia.
Oh, hell yes!
We got some heavy hitters going on here. God damn.
Real dream team.
We're entering the snark zone here on the Hypecast. Yeah,
Also, it's a prequel, and like the
Yeah.
little girl is like a full ass adult now. Has
This is-
been
all
for
right, so-
many years.
This is the big problem is I believe that's the same actress from the original,
It-
right?
It is, yeah.
And listen, people age. That's just a thing people
That's
do.
what happens.
And in the first Orphan, from what I can tell, spoilers for Orphan, but it appeared that the actress they got could believably look like a child. And the twist is, spoilers, I haven't even seen it, that she's actually a lady, a grown lady.
That's-
in this trailer, that actress has since become old enough to look like a grown lady. Like, she looks fine.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, again, I'm not trying to shame
Well, I
anybody,
just
No,
wanna
no, no, no.
but
put- I'm gonna-
time has continued forward, so she looks like she's in her 30s.
Yeah, she's
gonna
got
put
like
she
Moaning
is
Myrtle vibes, dude.
yeah she is actually a child, and the actress was a child. In the
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
But
was not an
no
adult
longer.
actress.
Okay.
Was a child, but the character in the original. The twist is that the character is actually an adult.
Right.
Which
she's
is-
so
so
she's
now it's
probably in her
weird that they're
20s
doing
or late
this.
20s at this point.
It's weird they're doing this.
Yeah. And
It's
so
really strange. Yeah.
It's really funny to watch them be like, something's wrong with my child, and just a grown woman dressed as a child, like a fucking Mad TV sketch
Yeah.
character,
It's true.
and just like acting like a child. It's like, well, here's your problem.
Your
man.
problem is
that
you're-
is a grown woman. Is what that is.
homegrown.
Your 8-year-old appears to be 27.
She's doing absolute ghoul shit, like
Yeah.
wearing ribbons. Like if you wear a ribbon, you're there's something going on with Esther. You gotta
Yeah.
fucking clamp that down. You know,
It's so funny. I think I saw someone tweet that it's the Dear Evan Hansen situation.
Yeah.
Where but the problem is in this case, the twist is supposed to be that she's a
She's
grown
an
woman.
adult. Yeah, that's the whole
And
twist.
it's like,
so
yeah,
everyone's
she
just
sure
gonna
is.
look like
Yeah,
a
she is.
fool. Yeah, the audience is. Oh, I want to be that one person in the theater who is like when that twist happens, it's like,
Yeah.
I want to
I
be
mean,
that.
it seems like they might be doing some CGI juice, like a little bit maybe,
But not enough.
They're
But not
like
enough
air-
because she's still
airbrushing.
clearly an adult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got a dull face. It's
Uh,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
and-
glad
and
she
then-
got work, but
Yeah. Speaking of like, is Julia Stiles? She can do other films, right? She
Yeah.
doesn't have to do Orphan 2.
I mean,
oh.
she has not been in much lately, unfortunately. Like she,
Yeah.
like after the Bourne movies finished coming out, she just sort of disappeared.
Yeah, that's a shame because I like her. I mean, maybe they paid her well. Maybe she really believed in this project. I don't know. But like, it was
I
kind of
mean,
like, oh, that's a shame. Like, what's
people-
Julia Stiles doing in this?
People like the original. I enjoyed it when I saw it. I thought I even going into the movie, I even knew the twist beforehand, and it was still like the way they reveal it is really unsettling. Like it
I
is
heard-
genuinely
yeah.
creepy.
I heard that I need to watch Orphan because I've heard that Orphan is one of those movies that everybody goes, it's actually really good.
It's better than you expect. I don't know if I would say it's really good, but it's definitely better than you expect.
It's not the schlock that you'd expect, you know.
Right. It's the director of, let's see, the original
Boy.
Orphan. The original Orphan director is now doing Black Adam, did Jungle Cruise, did The Shallows, and I really like The Shallows.
Again,
so
just
Oh yeah.
you know, you make a horror movie, you make like a slasher movie or some shit, and then you just like, now I can make just real movies. It feels like that's what a lot of these directors are doing, which is weird.
Yeah.
Also,
that's
they're
been
cheap and
happening
they
forever,
make money.
right?
Yeah.
They're just like, yes. I got through that phase. Now I can make Jungle Cruise.
Now I can make
It's
the
the-
Jungle Cruise and Black Adam.
it's the Peter Jackson thing. It's a lot of directors start that way.
I also want to say, you know how my feelings on this. The best name for a movie is Mortal Bones, but Orphan First Kill is so good.
It is pretty
Rambo
sweet.
First Blood? Are you kidding me? Are
Hell
you
yeah.
kidding me?
No,
Orphan.
this was part of the reason I didn't see the original is because there was something so funny to me when they're like Orphan coming out soon, and I'm like, am I supposed to be scared of orphans?
Yeah,
because orphans famously have a tough time in this country or in the world.
Yeah.
It's really funny to demonize Orphan, and now it's like Rambo. Now
God,
it's like.
never buy an
Sure.
old timey Orphan though. Here's the deal.
No,
you
if
don't
she-
want
if
like
she's-
an Annabelle or an Esther. They're
Right.
gonna cut you.
If
They're gonna
she's
cut
wearing
you.
like a frontier dress and a ribbon, just no.
Yeah, if she's like American Girl doll,
That's a fucking ghost.
you
yeah.
send that.
Yeah.
You send that into the cellar and you lock it up and forget about it.
Listen, I hope they make 100 of these. Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
keep
I hope-
cranking them out.
Orphan is like
Second
fucking
kill.
Freddy Krueger,
Sure.
or
Third
Jason.
kill.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
fourth.
They're
kill.
gonna do Annabelle versus Orphan.
Yeah.
Orphan
At some
Yes.
point.
Hell yeah.
The Orphan verse is just ripe for
Yeah.
just like so many movies. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's go.
I'm gonna watch this.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch.
No,
this.
I will. I will.
Yeah.
You
This is
should definitely
great.
watch the original first, though, Dave.
Yeah, just so I'm not lost.
He's
but
not.
like,
You know,
I
Tom,
mean-
he's not gonna watch it, Tom.
I'm gonna watch this for a different reason.
I know,
than
but
what
that's-
I want to watch the original.
That's what I'm saying. Is you should watch the original, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
It'll be better, but you're not.
Right.
You don't do things.
You will get more out of it than
you
you
do
will
things the way
probably
you
get out
want
of
to
this
do 'em
sequel.
because you're a ghoul. Because your behavior is so erratic. Something's going on with Dave.
This one does seem to have a much higher body count.
Hell
yeah, I'm sure.
She
Listen.
seems to be putting motherfuckers on ice in this one.
Maybe,
Yes,
maybe
dude.
this is really good. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Fuck it.
probably not, but
Probably
it's
not.
probably
judging
generic
by
as
the
fuck.
pedigree of the filmmakers involved.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if they just come out with an absolute like game changer? Like,
Yeah,
I hope they do. I hope they do.
Jesus.
yeah. I hope they do. I'd
Orphan
let this
First
person
Kill.
direct something I wrote, just because I'm desperate.
That's the thing.
You know,
It's the desperation
like
that
they're
gets
doing.
you.
It's what you're saying. Like these people are clearly doing better in the industry than us. So like, who are we to mock them in their Orphan sequel?
We're
I'll
just,
make an Orphan sequel. Someone give me an Orphan sequel. I'll write it.
but at the same time, I'm gonna mock whoever the fuck I want because
Yeah,
Yeah, I do what I
because this
want.
is America.
I'm a
'Cause
loose cannon.
I'm the
Yeah.
movie doctor.
Movie doctor.
Living in my penthouse apartment in Mortal Bones, City of Engines.
yes,
Right.
dude.
This
Yes.
this trailer also, and I tweeted about this, but I've just been noticing it more and more, has that shot, drone, because drones exist now, is car driving through the forest. An aerial shot of that.
Oh yes, we get
They
a lot of that.
love that shot.
Very
right now.
cheap, very cool
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Very horror movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
it's fine.
It's not a bad shot. It's just like, boy,
Yes, we
Getting a
get
lot
it.
of it.
I keep seeing this fucking shot.
It's like the Searchers shot with the silhouette in the doorway.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're
At a
done with
certain
that shot.
point-
Find a new shot.
a lot of people have done it. We've seen it. We can move on.
Yep. Speaking of moving on, final trailer is for fall. This is there was a teaser for this, but we have the full trailer now to learn the story, which is the story of two young women who decide to climb a dangerous signal tower, and it's dangerous.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Yes.
I don't give two shits about this movie.
Yeah, this is very.
I mean,
how does this movie get through a pitch?
I can see how it gets through because there is undeniably an appeal to like something like The Shallows, where it's somebody trapped in a real.
Right.
It's not a fancy thing. It's just like, what if a shark was there and you couldn't get out of there? Like, what if you were just stuck up really high and you couldn't get down?
So low hanging fruit, no pun intended, to be like, tall, scary. Let's get them up there.
Well, it's like they have to come up, and Shallows kind of gets away with it a little bit easier. But like with a premise like this, is you have to invent so many reasons for why a signal tower, which again, climbing these not again. I wrote these in the notes. But to emphasize, signal towers that's just a job that people have. Like people climb those. You can find videos all over YouTube. That's just somebody's job that you're cosplaying right now.
Right. They have harnesses too. Like
yeah.
So
this is
just an accident.
Right. And they also they do that, and then they also have the tower be like rusty, like it's from the 1860s. And it's like, how fucking old do you think cell towers are?
Right. And
and then the third thing
is they have a part in the trailer where she's like, I don't have a signal on my phone.
You're on a fucking cell tower. It's like the very next shot, she jumps down to one of the relay dishes.
I hope they make a joke. I hope they're like, I should have gotten AT&T, but I went with Verizon.
They'll come up with some hog shit reason like, oh, this tower's no longer in use, and that's why it's so rusted. I'm like, it doesn't make sense that it would be in that much disrepair, but fine.
Right, and they'll probably say like, oh, the irony, no signal on it. Like, but it really is what it is it's like Buried, that other movie. We're gonna put a character in a dangerous situation and we'll get, I don't know, 80 minutes. Oh, apparently this is an hour and 47 minutes. I don't know how that's possible.
Absolutely not.
Aha. Here's the thing we haven't talked about. Is it? Well, you finish your thought.
Oh, they're just like, we're going to put them in the situation and make them do the dumbest decisions so that they're trapped, right? Mm-hmm. It's them versus a screenwriter who has to keep them on this stupid tower. Yep. Yeah. And so it has to be like, oh, no self-service, even though that's impossible.
They're going to see a plane at some point fly by,
Yeah. There'll be constant teases, you're right, where it's like, oh, we almost got it. And it's just going to be a series of like dumb situations and choices to keep these people on a fucking tower.
What if there's a fucking
that they
bird
themselves
attack?
Just chose to climb? That's the plot. The plot is, hey, we should climb this tower. Oh no. We shouldn't have climbed this tower.
What if a huge bird comes, like an albatross or some shit?
Like a prehistorically huge bird. It suddenly becomes a monster movie.
They're like, the birds up here are so big.
It would honestly be awesome if it was like a smaller bird that just keeps pecking at their face and causing them to almost fall.
That's Cat's Eye.
That is Cat's Eye.
Yeah. It's Cat's Eye.
So the reason it's longer than you'd think, because you're right, it's going to be 70 minutes of tower. But we skipped right past the beginning of the trailer, which feels like that there's the motivation for why they need to climb the tower, which is that she loses her dad on a mountain.
Boyfriend, I'm not sure.
Boyfriend,
her dad friend, yeah.
Someone dies, and there was a brief moment in time, because I've never heard of this movie. This is the first time I watched the trailer. That you showed me a trailer where I was like, please let it be about them trying to fight a mountain. Please.
But this is you got to get back on that horse, right? It's oh, you lost someone. We got to get you back climbing. Stuff.
Yeah. You're climber in your blood. You got to get out there.
What sense does that make? Oh, you were in a terrifying plane crash where you got to get right back on.
It's like, put you on planes.
Nope.
Now.
I'm not getting on a fucking plane ever again.
I don't know if it's like your love. If you're like flying planes,
true.
It's different from like just being a casual like.
That's true.
My passion is to sit on planes. And not drive, but just be a passenger.
Right.
But yeah, this time, but it was just, it was so beautiful. And then they had to ruin it with the cell tower. But I guess that's better than fighting a mountain. That's actually a sketch that we did. I don't know if you guys remember that at Cracked.
Yeah, Killing the Dirt.
Yeah, it was Man versus Mountain is what we called it, but I think it's got a name like some bullshit like they all are, like the most Michael Bay documentary or something like that. But it's Swaim fighting a mountain because it killed his dad, and I thought it was this movie, and I got so excited.
That would have been amazing.
All right.
No, it's a cell tower.
It's mostly going to be her holding her friend dangling by a rope. Like everything is going to be, someone's going to fall.
It's going to be, someone's going to fall, combined with, like you said, a car drives by. Let's try to get its attention. Let's do something dangerous to get its attention. Mm-hmm. Oh, we didn't get its attention because we're only 60 minutes into the movie.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. That's why I find these movies fundamentally boring.
Right.
Is because, like, they are so incredibly predictable because of what they are. Like, it would be amazing if 30 minutes into this movie, they're off the tower. I would never guess that.
I would never expect that.
Right. And that's how you would make a movie like this, or a movie that's interesting that has this subject. But I don't know what that would be. I don't know how you'd make that movie, because the premise is fundamentally, how do we get off this tower? And that, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I think about 127 Hours is an example of a movie that kind of has to grapple with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you're stuck now. How long are you going to be in this section of the movie?
Till the movie ends. What imagines, like
that's the thing.
But they do a lot of flashbacks and shit. So
I hope not. I hope it's just the one at the beginning.
Well, that would be the other way to make this interesting, right?
Yeah, that's what 127 Hours did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what 100. Like, an interesting way to do this movie is like a series of flashbacks leading up to the reveal that like one of these women is actually have been plotting to kill the other, or something like that.
Right. You'd
where
have
it's
to
like,
develop a new arc, right?
Yeah, you do something
I'm
to
allied
focus on
with
characters.
the tower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and the
Yeah, so
tower
you're
doing deals.
You're trying to make a lifeboat.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I mean. Is you do. That's the only way to do something like this. Is you focus on the characters.
Yeah.
Where I'm not confident that's what this is going to be.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't
in fairness, maybe it'll surprise us all. Maybe it'll be like, holy shit, this was Lifeboat.
Always true. We say that about every movie. How often are we wrong about this?
I know.
But
Never.
I guess we always have to say it because
We're always
Dr.
right.
Phil.
Because there's somebody out there, it's probably Grumblebee, who's just sitting there in his fall
wearing
t-shirt.
a fall t-shirt.
And he's crying. He's like, I give them money.
That is one of... Man, I hope there's fall t-shirts. When I worked at a movie theater, they had a run where they stopped doing uniforms, and I think they still do this at Cinemark, is they do t-shirts for whatever movie paid the most money for that advertising, which created a situation where I'd have t-shirts for like The Core, and it was like, this is amazing.
Now you have... Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
So
I hope there are fall TV. I really want one. I'm not going to spend more than $15, but if it exists for less than $15, I would like it a fall TV or a fall t-shirt.
Someone print out and sell us fall t-shirts.
We will buy
I'm
them.
Gonna name my child The Fall.
Fall.
Yeah.
Is it The Fall or is it just
No,
I think
not
it's just
The Fall.
Fall. It's just Fall. Okay.
Yeah.
Fall.
The Fall is a much superior movie.
Fall.
I assume.
That is such a... I was going to say it's such
like
a dumb
old.
idea. It's like naming a shark movie Jaws, but then I realized, but it is kind of... It's like naming Jaws Bite. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's
Sharp.
It's just the thing we fear.
Yeah.
that they're making the title.
I think it's fall. Old.
Fall.
We have a lot of we just really want the adjectives to get there.
They're evocative.
I know fall isn't an adjective, but it's like it's what you're saying. It's like the thing we're scared of, a descriptor of it, as opposed to like the tower or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
something.
Or
something better.
Yeah, this could be called Climb, but they don't seem to have a problem climbing. They get to the top pretty quickly in the trailer. It's more about the fall. So
The fall.
Yeah, we got it. We nailed it.
Yeah, they highlighted the important part.
They're like this. Someone named the movie and was like, "This one is all wrapped up."
All right.
Yeah, let's move on.
we got news stories, but first we got to thank some people.
Yeah,
some
thanks
producers.
to more of our patron producers.
Yeah, big thank you to Davey Francis 9. Davey goes to hell.
Thank you.
Thank you to Oh Great, It's That Guy.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Definitely Not Guillermo del Toro.
We're on to you.
Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
I sure do.
Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Han Toomey, the confused cyborg. Thank you.
All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Happy Birthday Dave, Happy Ed, and Kevin Nash.
Thank you.
Thank you to
Who's
Manish.
Kevin Nash?
Big Sexy, Big Daddy Cool, Diesel,
Ah,
Super Shredder.
Okay.
Manishevitz Maltov says the economic solidarity is the path to paradise, comrades.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tiger Doors Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you to Cody Johnson's Time Machine Noise.
Yes.
Thank you to Pete Vorpagel.
Yes, thank
Thank you to pre-order Jason Pargin's new book. Pre-orders are super important.
It's true. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right.
Woo!
Yay!
So Top Gun's doing really well.
Yeah, people can't stop buying tickets.
Yep, it passed Titanic for specifically Paramount's highest grossing domestic release.
Yeah.
So that's not like, I mean, that's still cool, but like a lot of qualifiers there. But yeah, it's at like, I don't, it's,
Doesn't
what is it
matter.
at? Like 700 million in domestic box office.
It doesn't
It's,
matter.
yeah.
Avatar 6 is confirmed.
Hell yes.
James Cameron cannot let it
fuck.
stand. There
Nope,
cannot be
he
press.
won't. He's immediately going to withdraw whatever he
You-
said a few days ago. I might not direct Avatar 4 and 5 as soon as he
You
saw this
said-
story.
Yeah.
You said what? Yahoo.com?
You son of a bitch.
He will build a time machine and destroy Top Gun.
Grabs a harpoon gun in his teeth and dives into the sea. I'm back.
Yeah.
Abe,
Yep.
did you enjoy
Swimming
Top
like
Gun?
a dolphin.
I did. I thought it was better than the original. In terms of like what I expected Top Gun to be. Which I know is a weird thing to say about a movie that you've seen in the past and has kind of been a part of your life and like the whole time. But like when you put down Top Gun on paper, the movie you expect is Maverick. It's not the
Right.
original Top Gun. So for that alone, I was like pretty into it. And yeah.
Yeah.
How about you
Good
guys?
story.
Did you like Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah, man. Check
Very
out
much so.
our We Just Watched episode on it.
Do you think
Yeah,
it's
we
better
love
than
it.
Titanic?
I think it's different than
It's a
Titanic.
completely different movie. Yeah.
What a bold stance, Dave.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the
Is
right
it-
stance.
Is it called Top Gun because they're like up high?
It's
So
called
it's like
Top Gun because that
It's
was
like the top guns, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
guns.
Yes.
It's called
Okay.
Plane Fall.
Plane soar.
Plane Soar. It's called Soar.
It's called City of Planes.
Fly. City of Planes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fucking, yeah. I don't know. This all makes sense.
This
It's
all
weird
makes
because it's nobody really has talked about it that much. I mean, like, I don't know.
I mean,
Uh,
this is I think it's a good example of how social media is not most of the rest of the world.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
For sure. For
Like,
sure.
Nobody's talking about not as many people are talking about this movie on the socials, but that's like a fraction of the people who go to see movies and the people who go to see
Yeah.
like this movie just
I was gonna-
keeps
1% of
making
the
money.
population.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's like, what's there to talk about? People are just going to see it.
Yeah.
It's wild to me because I looked up.
It's word of mouth shit.
I looked up how well,
Mm-hmm.
what's it called? Jurassic World is doing. And that's doing okay. But that's also kind of wild to me that, like, final Jurassic World, like, it's,
Oh, yeah.
they made
I
a Jurassic Park trilogy. A Jurassic
It's
Park
ending,
trilogy with the
yeah.
original cast, and it just sort of passed by.
Yep.
And everybody, and it's like, man, boy, did you fuck that up. Like,
Yeah.
when it's so underwhelming that it just sort of passes by.
It's like 5 weeks ago that movie came. A Jurassic Park movie came out 5 weeks ago.
You know, you really want to go to bat for Top Gun Maverick because it does have the feeling of like it's not an independent movie. It's a branded iconography. It's literally like a Harry Potter. It's exactly what the studios have been doing to us for the last 20 years. So you don't want to root for it, but it feels like a smaller movie. It feels like a it's not just the like machine press of Jurassic World. It feels more like Logan or of the X-Men franchise or something like that.
It's go ahead, Dave.
I was just saying, it's the fact that none of these need our help, right? Mm-hmm. Like we just did a review of Thor, and I've gotten people like speaking out defending Thor, and it's like it's fine, it's doing fine, it's made by Disney. Mm-hmm. You like that's a big Marvel thing where people get really upset when you don't like a Marvel film, and it's like it's not gonna. Our review isn't going to change anything. And I think just because of Marvel, something like Top Gun feels like an underdog because we've been doing, superhero films have just been so dominating. So you see Top Gun Maverick and you're like, look at that little film that's doing good.
And it's not
also completely forgetting that it's a Tom Cruise major fucking cinematic event.
I will say that it is a movie that's like about something, and it's like has characters in it, so that's nice.
We said in our review, it's really nice to see a big movie that is grounded in reality, where like the characters are mortal,
or it's written well enough. It's written better. That's what I want to go to bat for.
Yeah,
Tom nailed it. We had I don't know. It's the children that are wrong. I understand who I am and like how old I sound, but writing there's a fucking pandemic right now in writing, especially with blockbusters. They're god awful. They're god awful in their ideas, their ideas of how humans operate, and they're god awful in the rote kind of dialogue that they spew. It's not. I mean, all they are is just cool concepts for scenes without any regard at all for character. And I understand that that's because we want little action figures to play with. I understand that, the superhero movie is the most fun movie right now, and it's also the one that's, gets the most venom from me for this point. I can still enjoy that kind of shit. But Top Gun did seem to have some development. It's not top tier by any stretch of the imagination, but it's closer to something like Titanic than, I don't know, Jurassic World.
Yeah, it seems to actually give a shit. That's what I like about that director and his sequels. Like the Tron one felt like, for better or for worse, he's going to do a Tron sequel. Yeah. And no, like it isn't just superhero films, because as you're saying, Jurassic Park, like the original Jurassic Park specifically didn't cast like big stars. Mm-hmm. I believe because they didn't want them to distract. Is what I remember hearing. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well,
if I think a budget was also a concern.
Okay, you're the Spiel boys, so
if you want to really know the answers to all things Spielberg, you're gonna have to listen to our joint podcast. That's
my point being that the it's so wild to me when you compare Jurassic Park to Jurassic World. It really shows the difference in like blockbusters and the lack of creativity and because they're both made to sell toys. Obviously,
it's all.
But it's something about like that Chris Pratt one where it's like we're just getting big stars and we don't really have much consideration for the actual like directing of this or the actual like
or what the
story or
even
the characters.
Yeah.
Like the characters are just these two characters were romantically involved and now they're not and now they're gonna get, it's like it's so baseline.
Yeah, and everybody's a quip machine.
Ooh.
Yeah, and like they don't actually show any like the idea of Chris Pratt and boy, I'm forgetting her name, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't really. There's nothing
there's
in
no
that where they
really.
like rekindle their relationship. They just decide to kiss after her assistant dies.
And it's not because both of those actors aren't like good at their job. It's they have nothing to sink their teeth into.
There's nothing there in that movie.
Yeah, and there's nothing in the directing. There's nothing in the writing. It's just completely misunderstanding that series, and it's wild to me that they fucked it up so much that by this third one, I haven't heard a fucking peep about it.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Because no one cared about the last one and the last one.
Yep.
And
it bums me out because we're in superhero mania that it was like, ooh, yeah, Jurassic Park. Let's get that going. You know, let's get some more things out there that aren't just superhero movies. But it's all part of the same problem, which is what you're saying, Abe, which is that, like, in terms of writing, blockbusters are pretty bleak right now.
It's real bleak because they want to maintain the franchise. It's the same it's endemic to TV as well. If you think of it as a small microcosm, think of like we always criticize TV for trying to stretch into too many seasons. We're doing that to movies now too. And that is a shame, I guess, because it makes bold choices not redeemable.
And I think that's why it feels quaint to watch Top Gun Maverick, which is, yes, a sequel and huge budget and a big event, but it's like, oh, we're not teasing any sequels. This is grounded in reality. It's about like a human story. And it's like done with relatively practical effects and like it's the kiss and it's a self-contained story. And for some reason that feels like quaint, even though it's gigantic.
And here's the thing, is it's going to get ruined because it's doing well. So you know what that means, baby.
Top Gun 2.
Days! Top Gun 2. The new
Or
Maverick.
Top Gun 2, the sequel.
Yeah.
The sequel.
Top Gun 2 Part 2.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to get more
I don't know,
of this.
man.
We'll see. We'll
or
see.
maybe not. I don't know. I just really think that's how the machine operates. It's just contingent on the creatives involved saying, yes, that's a good idea or no, depending on where they are and if they have enough money. You know?
Yeah. Our second story, speaking of blockbusters, is that there was a bunch of visual effects artists have spoken out against Marvel as a client.
This one grinds my gears, guys.
Because, and this is very much, this reminds me of like the video game industry, which is like, whether or not you like these movies, there's a culture around visual effects and like animation and anything where it's fucking people on a computer making little CGI dildos where they just get really overworked and underpaid and no one gives a fuck.
Right.
And Marvel is, because it's the biggest thing, is probably the biggest offender. But that isn't to say, I've heard about this
Disney.
forever. Yeah, Disney.
Yeah.
Disney specifically.
Man, here's the deal. Here's the reality that, because I could sit here and tell you, like, let's unionize this shit. Let's solve this. I mean, we just had a big success in the movie industry last summer, basically. Like, all around this, the unions fighting for all the right wages, the right hours, all that kind of stuff. There's progress can be made, but here is the actual problem. They will always get away with skimming off the top like this with these big studios. It will always be on the worker. It will always be the worker's back that breaks. I don't care if you think a union will solve this. Maybe in other industries it will work. I've worked long enough in this field to know that a union does not solve this. It's fucking Disney. And the whole field employs creatives, and there are tens of thousands of people who will work on that project if you step down. Studios like Marvel will always be able to take advantage of that. They get to pick who they employ, and in some cases there will be labor abuse. This will always be true as long as movies are idolized.
They're going to burn through people, that's all. But you're right, there's this weird, so here's why I'm optimistic, is I think you're right that there's, the way movies are made, there's always this weird mentality of like, we're making art, you got to push yourself, right? That's why like film sets aren't particularly safe.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah, that's true. Usually with lower budgets.
Right. But I think that's across the board. And what I think is gonna, I don't know, help that is the fact that, like, I don't feel like you can do that when it's like, come on, guys, we got to really push. We're making The Sorcerer's Apprentice, where it's like the more commercial, big budget things get, the more by committee they are. I feel like the easier it is for artists who are the workers to be like, no, we're not doing that. Because I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here.
You think? I mean, I think I'm not dismissing unions. I do think that like I was mentioning, there are successes you can do, but if
I just think
anytime they're just like, no, we don't want to do that, they can get away with it for a while, and that's just not going away.
Yeah, I just think that the more sanitized this has got, like this isn't Phil Tippett working long hours to create Jurassic Park, right?
Right.
Like it is now like huge rooms full of people rendering certain things, or like, you know, like rotoscoping out shots.
They're rendering
like
Abomination's foot for She-Hulk.
Exactly. And so it's like, it's going to be more people being like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not doing this. Mm-hmm. And I think the more people that do that, hopefully, like it's the whole thing of like, the more these become more commercial products, the more they have to treat it that way, right? And so the more they have to just abide by like labor laws and unions. And
as long as it just goes back to what Abe was saying, as long as there are thousands of people that will do the work for the same amount or cheaper, you will just be fired and replaced in an instant.
Yeah. I know. But I think what will help is these large effects companies taking the side of their artists.
Yes.
Which I think we'll get more and more of.
Needs to happen more and more. And that actually is the way that the tide can turn. I do think that if there is any optimism in it, it is that companies need to make stands against companies. Because individuals are lost in the noise.
Yeah. And I think they will. And we've always had this problem to some extent, right? I mentioned Tron. Tron was animated by sending the stuff overseas and then getting it back and just sort of looking the other way. You know, like animation has always had this sort of issue where anything that takes a large amount of people.
It's Disney. Dude. Iwerks.
Disney.
It was the foundation of Mickey Mouse is this exact problem.
Yeah.
Credit is not established at all between the people who, quote, generate the idea and the actual people who actually do the idea. There's a disconnect, and we don't see it as the audience. And until someone points it out and screams it loudly, hey, this guy fucked him over because he was a Jew, by the way. I don't know. Sorry for people who love Walt Disney. He fucking hated Jews, I guess. He sure did. And until that problem is taken away, until these people are able to have repercussions for kind of decisions like that, where everything has to be done through like another company. We need essentially a SAG for visual effects artists.
Yeah, we do.
Which is a union. It's
and
a very, very strong union too.
And everything in the video game industry as well.
Animators. There was a big not a big scandal, but like a similar story I remember a couple of years ago when that movie Sausage Party came out.
Yeah.
Right.
And that animation studio that Rogan and Evan Goldberg worked with for that, I think they're making another movie. So it's just like nothing happened about
Nothing
it.
really happened. They
Nothing
got slapped
happened.
on the wrist. They paid some fines. They probably paid individual visual effects artists, and that was fine. That was enough because there's millions of dollars being passed through doors. You know, it's real fucked up. Because you can get away with a lot when you're dealing with budgets this large. And so it's something we got to keep our eye on. It's something definitely unions do help, but I think even more so what really helps is companies going against companies. And I think people like stuff like this, where we are like, hey, if you don't like that thing, don't go to that thing. If you don't like that they're doing this, and also tell people that they're doing this so people can kind of get angry about it. And now, because here's the thing with risk adverse 4-quadrant stuff is they're terrified of bad pre-press. Like Sonic is like the worst nightmare to them, you know? Yeah. And that was just a goofy looking cartoon. So if it's instead the news cycle is something like they're mistreating their people, we'll get what we've seen in stuff like Rockstar Games with like Red Dead, where it's like, oh, something needs to be done.
Right. They if only for the PR. Yeah, they will jump on it. And honestly, if you have to cyberbully a company into doing the right thing, so be it.
No, you should, because the vast majority of them have proven for the past, I don't know, several hundred years of this country existing that they will do whatever they can get away with.
Yeah, they're cowards. Mm-hmm. They're cowards, and they exactly. All they care about is bottom line shit. So, like, yeah, it works. if you cyberbully a company
Get a
and
news cycle
enough
going.
people say, hey, here we are, like fucking threatening with our wallets, they'll do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's sort of why we have to like regulate them and hold them accountable all the goddamn time and not treat them like they're people.
Right.
I think Disney needs to be broken up, but that's just
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
Yeah, by
That's
the
a
way,
whole different conversation.
by the way, this podcast might need to be deleted at some point in our careers if it goes well.
I think about that all the time after so many reviews and stuff
Like-
where I'm just like, man, I hope no one in the industry
And that's
listens
the
to
problem.
anything I say on any podcast.
Just like Father Disney saying, like, he said what?
Yeah.
He does not get the job.
Yeah.
What the
I hope.
fuck am
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Like,
funny.
what if the Orphan director is like, oh, I wanted to use those guys, but nope, can't do it now.
Damn.
They went after Orphan First Kill.
Crying in his
Yeah.
Orphan First Kill T-shirt.
Yeah. No, if any of us, get any sort of like good deal in the industry, these podcasts will just disappear overnight.
And that's fine. That's fine.
One of us will be assassinated. The other one will just say suddenly rich.
Yeah. gonna find my skeleton in a plastic barrel in Florida in
Dave's
the
already-
Everglades.
Oh, I'm so fucked because Dave's thought about this way more than I have, and now
Yep.
I'm already behind. I'm already
Yep.
behind. It's over.
All right. Well, we have more people to thank, so I'm going to thank some of them. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Big thank you to Del Griffith, the shower curtain fella. Thank you to the Midnight Patron with patrons at midnight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Andrew the Proud Satanist Howe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Vincent. Thank you. Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bootler Boodleson.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Tux.
Tux.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Space McNulty.
Thank you. All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to your mom.
Thanks.
Thank you to Nolan Tooby Stark Harold Mayton.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew Fall Marine on Twitch and Patreon at Heartfist Brain McGuire.
Thanks.
Thank you to AJ.
Thanks, AJ.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Tip Drizzle.
Thank you to Burrito Mouth.
Thank you.
Thank you to the ghost of Dave Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie fuck. Thank you to Mackenzie fuck shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Funky J.
Thank you.
And thank you to Pie Guy.
Pie Guy. Thanks.
Listen,
Your producers are so funny.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Your producers are so funny, man.
yeah, the
I
best.
actually
Oh,
laugh.
they're the best.
The shower curtain fella. That I don't know why. It's not even a real joke. It's just funny. Just a funny phrase.
I believe it's a reference.
It's an extremely
Is it a reference?
gentle planes, trains, and automobiles reference.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
what it is. I was just laughing at the idea of a shower curtain fella.
Ah,
Here
it's
I
Del
am,
Griffith.
like a dumb,
Yeah.
dumb little comedic babe enjoying the joke on it's not even on its own merit.
Yeah, you simple
Speaking,
man.
So
speaking
simple.
of dumb little babes and simple men, Dave,
I got him.
do you have a movie
Ah.
that could perhaps do with a little bit more hype?
I need
yeah,
it.
I
I
do. I really do. I
yeah,
really
you
do.
really do. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a movie called Polaris.
Mhm.
Boy. So the trailer, it's coming out at the Fantasia Fest in July, which is this month. So it's not streaming anytime soon. It has an all-lady cast, which is neat. It takes place... Well, actually, no. It takes place in 2144 in what looks like an Arctic wasteland, but like I don't know if it's the Arctic. That's the point. It's a frozen wasteland following a child who was raised by a polar bear and becomes a young lady and has to deal with a bunch of like marauders who kill the polar bears, and it becomes just like a revenge like a revenge rampage of
Bearwick?
this woman killing this other group of women who are all like Mad Max style marauders, but in the fucking Arctic. And that's the fucking movie. And I don't know why everybody isn't talking about this movie.
It looks dope as shit.
It looks dope as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, Bearwick.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
it's got a little Mandy in it too, like where the villains kind of look a little like fucked up.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, man. It's apparently inspired by ecofeminism stuff, which is like, you can't. I get it. It's basically this woman, standing up for the polar bears in a frozen wasteland, but it just looks fucking badass. It looks
does.
bloody and fucking wild and like.
And it's cool to do a post-apocalyptic winter wasteland. Like I don't think
Yeah.
I've
We haven't
seen that.
seen,
Yeah,
Snowpiercer,
it's-
I guess, but not really.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Not really,
But
though.
it's
They're
But
Snow
not,
Mad
not
Max.
really, because they're on a train.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's I really love the little clip that you like, or the
trailer?
The little snub from the article that you gave. The film portrays these themes with an entirely female cast, including the polar bear. I
Yeah.
love that shit. It's so fucking funny. It's like, oh, the polar bear's female too? Good.
Yeah. That is something in the trailer. I'm going to skip through it actually right now. That polar bear looks real. I don't think they had a real person ride a polar bear.
Nah.
But it's probably just very well done CGI, but it's
Yeah.
a good looking fucking. I don't know. It looks like they mixed like actual shots of polar bears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
that's what they did.
CGI, or like they composited shots of
It's-
polar bear. Like there's a part where
Yeah.
she's rolling around next to it. That looks like a real bear that she's rolling around next
It's
to.
because they're like getting like National Geographic shots of a roller bear just rolling around, and then they just go, okay, over there, let's CG the girl in, comp in the girl in, and CG some snow. So they're making snow
Yeah.
angels together. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Smart.
And yeah, definitely Polaris. Look up the fucking teaser trailer. It's only got 10K views.
Yeah,
God, I want
we
to
gotta
see
bring
this
that
so
number
bad.
up. Yeah, this movie.
Yeah.
This movie. Like I usually am super on board with your movies that deserve more hype, but this is the one that I've been the most excited about in a while.
Right.
Mad
Where it's like,
Max.
well,
Yeah.
Mad Max in the Arctic. And that's like, again, the enemy is wearing like this crown of metal spikes.
Well, it's
like real Doof Warrior shit.
If you it's like actually it reminds me a lot of the How to Train Your Dragon 2, the mom's get up, which is also badass, where it's just like this haunting mask with spikes coming out of it, and it's just like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. And then she has like this cool like army type helmet on. And then for some reason, the last shot is of a woman sleeping or dead or lying there with her eyes closed, wearing what looks like fucking like a Power Rangers outfit, like this like green armor. And they end on it. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like, I need to know everything that's happening here. And there's only really one way to do that, which is to see this goddamn movie.
There will be maulings, so many maulings.
Yeah, there
in this
better
movie.
be. This looks. Oh god, fuck yeah! So excited for this.
The
one.
only thing better would be to call this movie Claw.
Claw.
Yeah.
Rip.
Jesus
I
Christ.
mean, the lion one's called Roar, right?
That's true. It is.
I like Polaris because it's already like, because that's the North Star, so it's like cardinal north. North reminds us of the Arctic. It's got some things going. So I think I think we're in good hands.
Yeah.
It's no mortal bones.
It's no mortal bones. But yeah, this is like this trailer should have millions of views. It's fucked up that it doesn't. I'm ashamed in humanity.
Yeah.
That it doesn't.
Honestly,
Let's go
we
see it.
deserve the winter wasteland.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody fucking check out the trailer for Polaris.
Yeah.
Like Solaris, but with a P.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck.
I think we've done it. I think that's a sode, you guys.
Holy shit. Yeah. We really talked forever. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're almost 2 hours in.
did. Oh man.
I'm still
there were
under
like
a
15
Jason
trailers.
Pargin.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
true.
that
That's true.
deep in.
That's true.
I have to stretch this for 17 more minutes if I'm going to be that long,
Right.
which I won't.
Well,
no.
What do you want to tell people, Abe? What do you want to plug?
Yeah, for like 17 minutes. What do you want to plug?
A lot of your audience probably knows, but if some don't, my name again is Abe Epperson. I'm one of the co-hosts that run the whole thing at Small Beans, which is, a podcast network of a bunch of talented people. And you can find us at patreon.com/smallbeans or anywhere you find your podcasts. We have many podcasts. I have some with Tom. I don't have any with Dave. Adam Ganzer, Michael Swaim. These are the people. And thank you for having me on again, you guys.
Yeah, man, anytime. Absolutely.
Yeah. Always a pleasure.
Dave, why don't you tell him some stuff?
Talk to a smeen. That's what you call yourselves, right? For short.
A smeen? A
small beans?
Yes,
a smeen.
A wee bean.
Listen.
Jesus Christ. Dave.
We have a Patreon as well. Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do stuff with the Smeens. We do Spiel Boys. We do Star Trek The Next Futurama. And then we also have some additional podcasts. Tom and Jeff Watch Batman. Fox Mulder is a Maniac. That's all available for $5 a month on our Patreon. For $10 a month, we watch movies with our patrons every Friday, which is the night this comes out. I smell a mortal city of engine.
Immortal Bones. Yeah.
Immortal Bones and maybe an Orphan. I don't know, man.
I swear to God, we've seen it. I swear to God.
Only one way to find out.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, come
You're
join
going to have
us.
to tune into the Patreon.
Yep.
We also have a
night.
store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you'll find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So check that out.
Yeah.
You goofs.
Ooh.
Yo, wintry goofs.
What a hype. Indeed.
Indeed, such hype was cast. You guys, say goodbye.
I'm hyper than I came in.
I said say
Fuck
goodbye!
yeah.
Goodbye!
Goodbye.
Bye! Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. You can find more of his artwork at instagram.com/mvbramleyart. Our episode artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info. Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.